Hello, and welcome to yet another episode on the Stretch Street podcast. This is the energetic EJ, one and only. Any other energetic EJ is a what? Is a counterfeit. It's a pleasure to be here again on another episode on the Stretch Street podcast. Now, my guest today is so dedicated, and I'm just like, wow, wow. So dedicated. So dedicated he had to wake up 4 a.m. where he is to have this conversation at this time. This is 5 a.m. his time, and this is almost 4 p.m. my time, right? And we're just like different spaces. But I'm just really grateful for his dedication and his commitment, and even in what he does as a person, and you're going to hear about that in a bit from now. So my guest today is Gabriel Thomas Spartan, who is a first-time parent coach who teaches parents how to raise happy, healthy, and self-sufficient children without added stress. He's also the author of the book series, How to Raise the Happiest, Healthiest, Kindest, Most Happy Children in the World. Oh my gosh. Don't you want to listen to that? Through his coaching courses, he spurs parents to embrace healthy parenting styles that will shape the lives of their children positively. Gabriel is also a painter who started with a flair for art, and with the encouragement from his wife, he has gone on to create masterpieces that are appreciated by many across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, dear Stretch Street stars, please make a welcome to my guest today, Gabriel Thomas Spartan. Hello, Gabriel. How are you today?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show. I've been looking forward to this actually for the past couple of days. The reason why is because I follow you on social media. And I
Really?
am a fan. I am a fan. Yes, and I'll say it again. I am a fan. I had to get on your show. And you know what? Dreams do come true if you want them bad enough. And
Absolutely.
that's something that I've been sort of building on since I was a teenager, 13-year-old, when I heard that very quote, that dreams do come true if you want them bad enough. And look at where we are. It's almost 5 in the morning, for which I had to wake up at 4
I know, right? Oh my goodness.
on my spring break in California with my family.
Now I'm going to write on that beautiful quote that you just started with, saying that dreams do come true if you want it hard enough. Aside from being on this show because you've wanted it hard enough, what are other dreams that have come true for you because you wanted them hard enough?
Well, dreams, first of all, they do not come true if you just want them. You honestly have to want them bad enough. But first of all, I want to say hello to your audience and your fans and all those listeners and those who are watching around the world. Good morning from California, Riverside. I am vacationing with my family. As you can tell, I haven't shaved for days. That's because I can sleep another day. I can shave another day, but an opportunity like this, it doesn't just come by unless you want this bad enough. And I have to tell you that out of the 250 requests that I sent out to podcasters, you are number 10 that actually replied. And I am that guy. When I want something, if I have to fail 250 times to find the top 10, so be it. I'm all in or not in at all. So if this doesn't tell you that dreams do come true, I don't know what will. But this is the reason why I wanted to talk to you, was because I wanted to tell your audience and people around the world about the services which I have created for first-time parents, and not only just for first-time parents, but those who are co-parenting or single parents. All too often, We always praise the ones who are first-time parents, who are about to become first-time parents, and they have their support system. But not too often do we hear of people who want to support those who are co-parent. Excuse me, it's 4 a.m. Who are co-parenting, or those who are single. And these single parents, these parents who are co-parenting, their life is a lot harder. And so I wanted to not just give to the first-time parents, but what about the other side? What about those who are co-parenting that need help? And so I acquired the services of, and listen to this, out of 71 family lawyers, I found the one. I mean, I have to go that far to get to the one. And we all do. If you want to achieve something meaningful in life, you have to go through 71 lawyers to find the one who will help you with your vision, so that they can complete that vision for you in their own professional way of helping single parents and those who are co-parenting. So I found the one. Her name is Ashley Burkett, and I've been working with her. She's like my sister. And if you go to my website, firsttimemomdad.com, you will see First Time Parent Company. That is my company, which I created over 3 years ago. And the way that this company started was, I wanted to make 50 YouTube videos for my daughter, who is about to be 2 years old in about 2 months. So yeah, her name is Charlotte. As I was creating these videos, and I'm looking into the camera, into that green light that I'm looking at right now, I was looking at my daughter. I was looking at Charlotte. And she was going to be a girl. She was going to be born before summer. And I was going to name her Charlotte. Of course, my wife and I agreed on that name, and it was just the first name that I wanted, the only name that I wanted. My wife agreed, and that's what happened. So as I'm creating these videos, I'm realizing that I know so much about the field of parenting. I need to give not only these 50 videos to my daughter, but what about the rest of the world who's looking for something out there from a different perspective? With all due respect to women, with all due respect to mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers, there's not much out there from the perspective of a
The
father,
man,
from the
right?
perspective of a man,
Hmm.
from the perspective of a person who is living today, who's not using recycled information to share the information or
Hmm.
promote a product or sell a product. And as I'm creating this YouTube channel for my daughter called Finally I'm a
I'm
Dad,
a dad.
that's that's also
I saw some of the videos from the beginning. I had to go to the beginning, like, what inspired you to do that? And I saw how you kept talking to the camera, and the text that would come in to say, okay, dear child. At the time, you weren't even sure if it was going to be a boy or a girl, so it was just like, dear child, this, and it's just. I'm like, what? Why?
I'll tell you why. I wanted to make the 50 videos because of one specific reason. I lost my father in a car accident when I was 7 years old and he was 34. I know one thing. I am the man that I am because of the boy that my father helped shape into a man at the between ages of 4 to 7. He forged me into the man that I am today. And I'm still trying to reach those standards that he set for me. He didn't set my standards, he set the standards for me to reach. And so all I wanted to do, knowing that fathers don't live forever, to give my daughter all the information that I possibly could from my own perspective and my own experiences from college and university and middle school and elementary school, all of that, to take her there. That camera was Charlotte. and I took her to these places and I taught her. Let's go forward a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, I created this company as my daughter was growing inside of my wife's womb. It was parallel. Now, I have to tell you, as my company was growing, my daughter was growing. As she's growing up, my company's growing up. It's maturing. I'm helping people, not only first-time parents and those who are co-parenting. A lot of people have been asking for, hey, what about single parents? So now I'm working with that, and they're right. At the same time, a few days ago, what I realized was that the one I should say demographic. This just came to me a few days ago that I'm not helping this one special group of children, not parents. And what is that? Pediatric cancer patients. That is the other thing that I would like to continue working with, which I started a few days ago researching on, that the money that I am earning from my clients, that I will be working with pediatric cancer patients and organizations where I give back a portion of my proceeds from every single bundle that you ladies and gentlemen, that you purchase from me and my company, that the proceeds will go to pediatric cancer patients and cancer research, which is important to me. I've had my grandfather who died of cancer. I have one other relative in our family who was just diagnosed with cancer. Now, I love kids and I want them to be the future, as they are the future. While the world is run by old men today, the future belongs to our children.
To the young men.
It
Right.
makes sense, right?
Right.
They are the future. So we need to leave the world in better hands. And these children, they may be stricken with cancer, but it's not the be all and end all to all things. So I will be giving just a percent of my proceeds towards pediatric cancer research. And so I feel, as a few days ago, that my life has more meaning now, because that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to do, and help these children in my own small way, that I could perhaps start this revolution that any entrepreneur should look forward to give, not to just receive and take that money and invest it in real estate and buy airplanes with it, but to actually help humanity and to be remembered for having done something very important for humanity. And so that the legacy continues for hundreds of generations.
Mm-hmm. On this journey of just showing parents, how to raise happy kids. And it's funny, you started it from the moment you were told that you were going to be a dad. And you're just like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to, be everything, for my child, showing her life even before she's here. And I'm sure that little Charlotte haven't even seen some of the videos you did, because she can't capture what it is right now since she's just two. On that journey to where you are today with your business and the journey of being a father up until now, what have you seen to be one of the biggest challenge, or some of the biggest challenges that parents face, which is what you're trying to help them overcome? What are some of the challenges that you've seen, the causes, and how people can navigate through these challenges?
From my own perspective, and now from my own professional perspective, I'm going to go back a little bit. I planned for Charlotte's first 7 years, 2 years before she was born. That's called pre-planning.
Right.
A year before, I was working with how to shoot videos, angles, thumbnails. I mean, I get to the nitty gritty because it's the details that matter, right? No wasted movements, no wasted camera shots, no text that goes to sort of out into the universe without a purpose. So 2 years before she was born, I pre-planned for the first 7 years of her life. What do I see from parents? We're working with the parents in a way where they come to me and they want to unpeel that onion and start all over again. Let me tell you
Right.
in this way, if you didn't understand it. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Right.
You're coming to me for damage control. You're saying, well, all of this stuff happened, it fell apart, we've grown apart. How do we come back together?
Together.
And you want to fix that with the classes which I offer on firsttimemomdad.com for first-time parents and those who are co-parenting. Ladies and gentlemen, I can help you with the clinics which I offer for both first-time parents and those who are co-parenting. But sometimes it takes maybe 1 or 2 classes more to undo the things that have been done due to the lack of pre-planning. And now you realize all of that one day, that so many things have gone wrong, is because you didn't plan for the first 7 years of your child's life, because that is the blueprint for the rest of his or her life. And you want to undo things. We can't really undo anything that's been done, but we can improve upon things. And that requires everything that we do for ourselves, for our children, for the evolution of our family. It requires patience. It requires planning. And if you can't plan and you're seeking my help, you have to have a positive attitude about it. You have to be patient about it, and you have to work with me. And for the most part, whether you are co-parenting or you're becoming first-time parents or you just became parents, there is so much that you didn't plan for that's happened that led to whatever's happening right now that you see as a one picture problem. That there have been so many things. And I'll tell you this, the moment that you talked about becoming parents, your parents said, I'm going to spoil my grandchild. And this is what happened. And this is rather serious, is that you gave up your power of parenting and you became a co-parent. You became not the primary, but the secondary parent to your child, because now the grandparents want to take over. And you're saying, oh, it's okay. And you laughed it off. Do you remember that? And everything that led to what's happening right now is because you gave up your power of becoming primary parents to your child. And they spoiled the kid. And then years later, you realize that your child is not what you wanted your kid to be. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if we give our child to their grandparents, the 2 sets of grandparents, and they have people over, they're taking pictures of your child, and they're picking up that child, they're putting that child down, they're having fun, or they just show up, maybe they just smoked, okay, whatever they smoked, or they're eating in some way, and all these habits, children soak everything up like sponges, and we know that. And yet we let so many people, daycare, babysitters, grandparents, their friends, your friends, pick up that child and put that child on their lap and give hugs and kisses and everything. While that's a good thing, it's counterintuitive because it distances you from your child.
So are you
Because that
saying,
child,
yeah, so I'm
you
sorry to
understand that?
like I'm playing a lot of scenarios in my head as you're saying that, right? And I to an extent, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm struggling with it, right? Because so just to clarify in my head what you're saying. So are you saying as part of the pre-plan for your child, right, is to be the sole caretaker at least in the first 7 years? Is that what you're saying, or am I hearing it wrongly? because the pictures are coming to my head as you're saying the words. Like, okay, I see that happening. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong with that? So please clarify, what exactly are you saying? Like when you say, pre-plan for the child, right? Which for to be fair, is also an act of faith, because first of all, you know, you're not sure of what's going to happen in the future, but you still plan anyways, right? So now, what are you saying when you say pre-plan and then just all this abdicating your responsibility to caregivers, to house help, friends, family, grandmas, and yeah, please clarify that for me and my audience.
I'll tell you from my perspective, okay? And it's rather simple. 2 years before my daughter was born, my wife and I sat down and we planned everything, that we were going to take care of our own child no matter what. The daycare would be such that my daughter will go there and learn. It'll be a school for her, not a daycare where she's just there because we have to work. We chose the daycare in a way that they would teach her Spanish, English, and sign language, which we practice with her at home. That was necessary, and that's a small part, but the most important part. I mean, look at what we planned for the daycare. We went there, we sat there, and we watched people to see how transient that place is. What about their workers? What about their daycare workers, the people that are cooking, the people that are cleaning? How often do they change jobs? For how long do they stay? What about these children? Is it so transient that they show up for a month and then they just cancel their contracts and then go someplace else? What's happening with this place? And that's just one of the things that we looked at. The other was, if she's going to go to daycare, she's going to learn English and Spanish and sign language and stuff. It should be that. It shouldn't be where she just goes there and plays and sleeps and has her diaper changed. People don't look into that. It is extremely important that not many adults pick up my daughter. Can you imagine so many people, strangers, picking up your child? What happens at home then? They show up and you're not picking them up, and these children are thinking, well, then maybe these people at daycare are closer to me. They see these people at daycare as rather parents. Now, this is just the daycare part of it. We wanted to take care of our own child in a way that we take her to the pediatrician. We take her to a neurologist. We take her to all of these places. The fact that you will see, finally, I'm a Dad, which is the YouTube channel that I created for my daughter, but it's for all parents. You see how my daughter goes from thought to who she is today, 22 months. And I count the months because she's so wonderful. This experience is so incredible. I count that by months and days and even hours sometimes. But if you love this idea of bringing a child into the world that you will love, then why would you give that child up to so many people to raise for you? It doesn't take a village to raise a child. That child becomes a villager when a village raises that child in an age of modernity where we have everything in the palm of our hands, literally, in the form of a cell phone. You want to keep that child as close to you as possible for as long as possible, because the first 7 years will go by like the blink of an eye. And if my daughter or my wife and I started 2 years before my daughter was born and she's about to be 2, then we have 4 years of experience with our daughter. And we've so far raised her. We go to people when we need to see them. And here's the problem that we do see when sometimes people come to see us with their children. They're forcing my daughter to hug their child. They have the camera in their face and they want to take pictures. Or they play some some children's YouTube channel for my daughter. It's really heartbreaking for me to see that, but I limit those people because my daughter is being raised for the future, in the present, by very open-minded and educated parents. Parents, my wife and me. Now, this was the pre-planning part of it, that my daughter doesn't watch TV. She watches her own channel, and it's all a reflection. My daughter has been hiking since she was 3 months old. She was in a little backpack on my chest. The first thing we did was the Rubicon Trail in Lake Tahoe. And we drove her for 7 hours to get to that. Yeah, that was her very first trip. But ladies and gentlemen, this is after the child is born. The pre-planning is anything can go wrong from the moment that the child is conceived until the child is born. My daughter was born 6 weeks early. We delayed our plan because of COVID for a year. Yet she's born 6 weeks early. She's almost 4 pounds. She's in neonatal intensive care unit for 11 days and nights. I'm working. My wife is at home recovering. Well, she was in the hospital first. So I accepted 99% of the responsibilities of our household 2 years before my daughter was born. I was going through the scenarios in my head. I had contingency plans for everything. What I didn't plan for, they said 2 weeks before my wife was going to be induced. But the fact that my daughter was born 6 weeks early, that put my wife's life in danger and my daughter's life in danger. And yes, I wanted a girl and I got a girl. I wanted her to be born before summer. I got one. But we only look forward to the gender reveal, especially gentlemen, I'm talking to you. There's no guarantee that your wife or significant other will make it to that gender reveal. A miscarriage can happen at any moment. Stress can strike at any moment. Depression. I mean, I had to make sure that my wife has a circle of friends who are positive, that who will take care of her if something happens to me the first year.
Wow.
Because look, love is not guaranteed. Life is not guaranteed. And a child is not guaranteed. Nothing in this world is guaranteed. But can you set up contingency plans for if something goes wrong, then what? The if and the then. That's the hard part with the first-time parents when I talk to them is, what is your vision? In 7 years, where would you like to be with your child? I hate to replay this, but I get this. I don't know. You don't know? You're bringing a child into the world and you don't know what the first 7 years will be like. What is the first thing that you will do the moment that you learned that you're going to be parents? I don't know. When will you know anything? Well, some of the parents say, well, I've prepared the room. What if your child doesn't make it? What if your child is born with cancer? God forbid. But don't you think that happens? It happens. The fact that you don't know about it, well, that's just negligence. It could happen.
Did you plan for that in that case? Did you?
I prepared for that. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, my child was born 6 weeks early at the end of COVID and at the beginning of the formula shortage. The only thing that my daughter didn't have, and it was the most important, was food. I dispatched everybody. I mean, I had one of my close friends who brought with him from Dallas, Texas to Las Vegas, baby formula, 2 cans.
Wow.
My wife had milk, just enough for my daughter. She was fed every 2 hours. She was changed every 2 hours for weeks at a time. And so we have to put these plans together in case something doesn't work. Obviously, you can't blame the wife for that or yourself. But if you can pre-plan properly and make sure that your wife and or your significant other and your child, they're safe, then it makes it all worth the while.
That
Pre-planning.
is pre-plan. The way you're so invested in the pre-planning is very intense. Like, wow. What about this is intense, man. Okay. So what about, people who don't plan? Like, students or young people, they weren't expecting, they just something led to one thing and another, boom, there is a pregnancy here. What do you say to those people?
Every case is different
Right.
because now we're talking about a couple of things here. At what age?
Okay.
Where do they live? North, south, east, west? Their financial situation. Everything varies. And the way I plan to help first-time parents and parents who are co-parenting
Right.
is that I get to talk to them first. Who are you? Where do you live? Okay, what is the situation where you are? What about your family? If you didn't plan, maybe this runs in the family more times than not. It does. The lack of
Mm.
planning for the child.
Mm.
And the
Mm.
fact that we have a lot of younger kids having kids
Right. Right.
and
Right.
having more kids still didn't learn how to
From
plan because they didn't have guidance.
mm,
That's what we have to do is guide them, not to shun them for doing what they did, but how about we guide them? Because when did school from K through 12, college, university, ever teach you about having a family?
hmm.
When did they ever teach you how to hold a child? When did they ever say that your child may not make it to 9 months? Maybe your child will be born 6 weeks early. When did you ever learn any of that? When did you ever learn how to save money for your child? I mean, look, I asked a lot of moms how much this was going to cost me with the insurance and everything that I have. Oh, no more than $4,000 or $5,000. The first year, my daughter's medical bills were $20,000,
Wow.
and the government didn't help whatsoever.
Hmm.
It came from my pocket. That's what I saved, and I guess what? Every penny that I had saved for my daughter went towards her bills. Every single red cent. But I pre-planned for that 2 years before she was born. Imagine not planning and then being
Hmm.
surprised with a $20,000 bill or
Wow.
multiple bills that add to $20,000. What are you going to do then? And the
Hmm.
government doesn't help. Do you have enough?
Hmm.
So
Wow.
there. I hope that answers that question. Pre-planning.
So so then, how do you help parent again? So what process do you take them through? I mean, you've mentioned one of them being that you get to ask them those questions to know who they are, where they are, and to see if wherever they are at the point where they meet you, if there's a pattern to it, if there's a family pattern to how they decide. So what then? What next? What can you leave for us here on this, episode today to any first time parents or co-parenter or somebody who's a co-parent, or somebody who or a single parent, right? And who probably didn't really give this a thought, like planning. I mean, yes, planning in, okay, fine, plan, yeah, I'm gonna have this child anyways, or oh yeah, we're going to have this baby, but not going deep into, okay, what is the first year, second year, even up to 7 years of this child going to be like? How dedicated are we going to be in raising these kids? What are we going to, what length, what extent are we going to go to ensure that these kids are grounded and have all the necessary things that they need? How do you help parents do that?
Again, this is a case that is per parent, and you'd be surprised, more often than not, people are not willing. And if we're talking from a traditional sense, people don't want to be married anymore, especially young people. They may have kids, they may be wanting kids, but that sense of family dynamic is leaving us. Some of the kids who are having kids, they've never had a father, and they don't know how to be fathers. So when I talk to them, they don't know where to start. And this is a very delicate situation. This is a case by case basis. I cannot say that my situation is the same as another parent who's married. Not all parents are married. Not all parents want to be married. They may just have a child and then they live in two different states. Or the hard part with those who are co-parenting is they're fighting for their child's custody. And instead of asking for my help, they want my favor. They want to win my favor so that I side towards their interests versus the other. I mean, I'm working to become a mediator as well, but that's the heartbreaking part of it, is once you become sort of a patient of the court system, any card they deal you, that's the card that you've been dealt with, and you have to just accept it. And that's the hard part. But if you ask me for my help and for my assistance and my expertise, there is no paper trail the way that the court system has everything pre-planned for you. With me, you're on a case by case basis, depending on what you need. I make sure that the plan fits your family dynamic for what you want and how you want to raise your child. But once you go to the court system and you're just basically saying to the judge, hey, cite in my favor or decide in my favor, that's not going to work because they want evidence. Wouldn't it be better to ask for my help before it even gets to the hands of judges who will decide for you? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, is in the state of Nevada, in Clark County, where Las Vegas is, the holidays are split between the mother and the father. Odd years and even years, birthdays, and all these celebrations where the child won't see two parents at the dining table on any given holiday because they can't be together. Wouldn't it be best if you asked, I'm not a psychologist, I'm a first time parent coach, I'm a co-parent coach, to ask me for my help, where the prices that I charge for people, I tell them this: the price that you will pay for learning the things that I know costs less than the price you will pay for not knowing things and going to the court system, or raising your child not knowing how to raise that kid and saying that, oh, my mom will take care of it.
But why should they come to you? That I would love for you to just make it clear for them now. If somebody's watching you, I mean, now this could be watched anywhere in the world or listened to anywhere in the world. So I don't know that uh what you offer, the way that you help parents, is it universal that it can be applied anywhere in the world? Because like the law part of it would not be the same in all countries or in all districts, right? So I'm just saying that why should a first time parent or a co-parent, or a single parent who really want to understand how they can be more intentional about raising their kids, to come to you for help, to help them see the things they're not seeing yet, or understand some of the ways that they can deal with this to make the lives of their kids better, why should they come to you?
If you want to be intentional, you want to come and talk to me. If you want it to be accidental, then it's in your hands. You have to design your child's first 7 years in a way that for the rest of your life, you are connected to your child, versus being separated and sometimes connect with your child is different than being connected with your child, where that child trusts you with secrets, where they come to you. Because right now, there are children committing suicide, and we don't talk about it. There are children, see, I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that I've been teaching for the past 20 years in 2 different countries, and I've taught 5 different subjects here and 11 years in China, from preschool to grade 12, college, university, and beyond. Now, that is my foundation. I know what kids are going through. And if they're left alone to raise themselves, then they will raise themselves the wrong way. They will join any crowd, any group, to feel accepted. Because if they're neglected at home, or they're being raised by grandparents or great-grandparents or babysitters, then they're being raised by so many kinds of people except for parents. And these kids are going through depression. A lot of the kids are looking at me as if I'm their dad, because they want that authoritarian figure or an authoritative figure or that father figure. But I have to draw that line in the sand that, I am your teacher. You do have to go home to your fathers.
Your father.
Or maybe they don't have that father, or they don't have that father figure, and they want to be told sternly to do something, and they crave for that. Right now, our kids, especially with the technology that is provided to them, they're raising themselves. In the 90s, we used to call them latchkey kids, where you would put this dinner plate on the table and they would just watch TV and sort of raise themselves. But now they belong to different groups, and they're chatting with different types of people. So they're not being raised by parents who are telling them how to do it, what to do, and how to manage their stress levels. If they're depressed, what to do then. I mean, I belong to a lot of parenting groups, and the problem is a lot of the women are the ones who are complaining about how their children are today. And when I ask them, what did you do before they were born? How did you plan? I don't get an answer. And today their kids have anxiety, they have depression, some of them have attempted to commit suicide, and they've harmed themselves to the point that they've cut themselves, their own skin, with sharp objects. There are kids who are running away and getting married as teenagers, and the parents are complaining about it, as opposed to coming up with solutions. But when I offer solutions to them, my solution is far stranger than the opinions of strangers who tell these parents what to do with their kids, and they've never been parents for more than a year. But I've been a parent for the past 20 years in 2 different countries to so many thousands of kids. And for me to have this company, First Time Parent, everything that I do is woven together. Not only the Finally I'm a Dad YouTube channel, where you see how a child is being raised by a mother and a father, but I have another one called Life is Hard for Parents. And I tell you the realities and the difficulties of what it's like to be parents, and then what to do so that you don't have it so hard. You have it so that it's a beautiful relationship between the two of you. Contingency plans. On my Facebook, I write monthly newsletters, Power Parenting Newsletter. I have over 100 hours of free, of the highest quality of education that I can possibly provide to anybody in the world. The problem is not too many people want to take advantage of it because it takes so long. Really? I give you 100 hours of free knowledge that you can raise your children so that they don't have stress, or maybe they have positive stress versus negative stress, versus not having anxiety and depression, suicidal thoughts. Take advantage of that. If you don't see value in that, I don't know what you see value in. I have people in the parenting groups, they say, well, I need to take my child to the doctor. And I ask them, what doctor exactly do you think you'll take your child to? I don't know. And then they're putting this out there, this information, very personal information about their children to people who have no business in giving any advice. At least have 20 years of education under your belt. I've written 10 books, by the way, in 3 different categories, which you mentioned. It's all available on my website, firsttimemomdad.com. Go there, purchase these, and they're from the perspective of my daughter and how she's being raised. So the way I designed it was, if you don't take my word for it, then would you accept if my daughter, as an infant, wrote a book? How about she writes 10 books from her perspective and her language, where it goes from little text to illustrations and pictures more, but as she's evolving, that there's more text, less illustrations, less graphics. That's necessary, for example, for my child's growth. And so I wanted that to share that knowledge with all of you. What if your child could read better books than A is for apple, B is for ball? And so that's why I created those books. Check those out. Learn how a child is being raised from the perspective of a child. If you think my perspective is too complicated, would that help you? I've provided you with text, with listening tools, with tools that you can watch. So in any way, whether you are a fan of reading or watching TV, or if you want to be kinesthetic, however you are, I've provided you over 100 hours of free and the highest quality of information possible from the perspective of a father, a teacher, a business person, a family person. Take advantage of it, because there's nothing like it in the world, and I promise you that. And it's for free. But if you want my services and you would like to pay for it and learn further, then that's available too. And also on Groupon, I'm offering you a clinic for just one class. It's a crash course of first-time parents and those who are co-parenting. So I've made it available for everybody.
You've given everyone options. Like, guys, you have options. Parents, you have options. And I think, especially even if you want to start with the free one, to actually dig deep, there's like nothing to lose, you know. And if you say the time is important, because then you are actually investing time in learning how to become a better parent, or how to, understand your kids better. And I think that is worth any investment you want to give here, and especially if it's just your time. Thank you so much, Gabriel. I am also like curious, so I'm going to have to check out, the website itself. I've been watching the YouTube channel, and I had to go from the beginning just to understand the journey that you're trying to create and the message you're trying to share. And I sort of, resonate with it from the beginning. And so now you've given me more reason to go check out your works, your books, your free resources, and just to really see the things you're putting out there to help parents and kids, and see if it truly resonates. We can also spread the word, because like you said, a lot of people need this, and the values are being lost slowly. People just don't want to settle anymore. People don't want to think about the commitment of bringing another human into this world, right? And they do it the first time and they keep doing it without even thinking about it, and just it feels like it's just a spiral that is happening, and then a child becomes a parent again and then raise more children, and it's just it's a lot. It's a heavy topic, and a heavy area that you're trying to solve here. And I just wish you all the very best with raising your own little Charlotte, as well as helping other parents raise their kids as well. Thank you so very much for your time. I'm going to have to leave the links to all of the resources that you've mentioned in the description of this episode, so that people can just check them out and learn a thing or two about raising kids and about being parents, whether you're a single parent. And one thing I just wanted to leave before we round this off is the fact that when you talked about when the kids, as your teacher, when kids come to you and look up to you as their parents, probably because they do not have a father figure. And I'm just thinking to myself, yes. So if they don't have a father figure, it's just what it is. They don't. So does that mean that all hope is lost for them? I don't think so. So I'm thinking here, just putting this out here, is to say that if you are an adult as well and it bothers you, how kids are acting now, our teenagers, you can also learn these resources so that you can be that guide that a child around you needs, a child who truly doesn't have a father figure or a mother figure around you. But if you can learn how to be better, how to be good at parenting, you can actually help these children. You can guide them using the resources you've learned while you're preparing to be your own, to be a parent for yourself if you want to be that as well. I just thought I should mention that because I really think that there are people who need the help, who might not have the parents there who would take the bold step to just learn how to do it. So it means that we're probably going to need other people who are just going to do this out of the generosity of their hearts to say, okay, as far as I can, I am going to learn what I can about parenting, and I'm going to apply it to the young people around me just to see them become better adults in life. So thank you so much for your time again. Gabriel, thank you for waking up so early to be here. And I see your passion. Honestly, like you're so passionate about what you do, and it's lovely to see. And I wish you all the very best on your journey to continually make an impact.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys, this is where we draw the curtain on this episode. I hope that you've learned a thing or two, and I would really, really encourage you to go check out the resources that Gabriel has put together so that you can learn a thing or two for yourself, for those around you, and you can even share with people that you think would benefit from those resources. Thank you so much. Till I come your way again on the next episode on Stretch Street Podcast. This is the Energetic EJ. See you next time. Bye-bye.